Listeners beware. There's no turning back now. You've entered the Horror Apocalypse Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Horror Apocalypse. Today we're bringing back the 5-minute reviews. I have kind of slacked off on doing this. Chris hasn't done one in a long time either, so I figured I would bring it back. I've rediscovered Shudder. I got kind of bored with them for a little while. There hasn't been much on there, and recently I went on to watch a particular movie, and I just saw all the new stuff that's been popping up, and it gave me a great idea to kind of force me into watching more of these, watching more movies and bringing more content to you, especially these little 5-minute reviews. I figured it would be a good idea. We could do Shudder. So 5-minute reviews, new to Shudder. Here we go. Today, the first morsel is going to be brought to you in the film Howl. This is a new one. I don't really know how to explain this one. My two favorite genres are zombies, number one, and werewolves, number two. This was a werewolf movie. The basic plot is a bunch of people are trapped on a train by a werewolf. Train is going from station A to station B, ends up breaking down, and people are getting picked off one by one. We have our main character, Joe, who, let's see, how do I explain this? He basically, he's a ticket taker, and he kind of patrols the cars and make sure that everybody has their ticket on them. And at the beginning of the movie, he is kind of getting reprimanded for not writing any fines for like 6 weeks, I think they said. So he's kind of a softie. He's letting people get by, and his boss has told him, nope, he needs to be a hard ass. He needs to step up and do the hard work. And if it means fining people, it means fining people. So throughout this movie, this is sort of his coming of age, his growth, his coming to terms with the fact that he's a big softie. We have a variety of folks on this train. We have an elderly couple. We have a young girl who's kind of the badass. She is fighting against the parental type people. We have an asshole guy, the stereotypical guy who abusive power. We find out later on that he is one of the girls that's on the train. He interviewed her and kept trying to hit on her and make passes at her, and like she said, he never took his eyes off her breasts and things like that. So we've got a wide variety of people on this train. Some you cheer for, some you cheer against. No real happy ending to this movie. I'm going to tell you that right now. Don't get too attached to any character whatsoever, any of them. Even if they do make it all the way to the end, something is going to, pop up and surprise you. Just a reminder, it's a little late now since we're already jumping right into this, but we are a spoiler-filled podcast. I am working on some bumps to let you guys know when the spoilers will be coming. But no, right now, if you listen to us, if you've ever listened to any of our episodes, we're a spoiler-filled podcast. So carrying on. The wolves in this, it's hard to explain. Dog Soldiers, I think, is probably one of my favorite looking wolves, werewolves. Now, these particular werewolves in Howl have the same type of leg. They have that kind of back bent leg. I forget exactly the scientific term for it, but that back bent leg. But from the waist down, they look fantastic. From the waist up, I'm going to give you a little bit of a spoiler here. There's many of them. So from the waist up, the majority of them look horrible. They do. They look like a mix between a troll or like a Lord of the Rings orc mixed with a wolf. Not very eye-catching, not very memorable. I'll say that. The leader doesn't look too bad. But when you're going through Shudder and you see the poster for Howl, it's very eye catching, very furry on the face and blood smeared and matted into it. They don't look like that. Don't get too excited. That's definitely a marketing ploy. The mouth looks horrendous in the movie, and it almost unhinges, it looks like, a couple of times. So not exactly something I would recommend. But speaking of recommendation, now let's kind of look at this. The movie itself was meh at best. I found myself many times getting distracted by something on my phone, looking over my wife's shoulder while she's playing her game to see what's going on there. That's another thing too. It couldn't even hold her attention, and she's usually yelling at me to get off my phone for something. So, I mean, if this movie couldn't hold her attention, it definitely was not a memorable movie. Some folks, I think the average that it received on IMDb was a 5.4 out of 10, and it had some pretty decent reviews, but I can't agree with them. There was nothing memorable about this movie. The characters were paper thin. The wolves did not look that great. The basic overall story was fun, but not anything that I'm going to go recommend to folks. So with our usual out of 5, I think I'm going to give this one a 2. I'll say if you're looking for something to watch and you've seen everything else on Shudder, maybe try Hulu, but this one would be worth a view, I guess, if you want to formulate your own opinion. Just don't come back and say, Mike, why didn't you warn me? Because I'm warning you now. Not a good movie. But guys, thank you so much for listening to this. Here's a quick little snippet. We're going to have more. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and stop this one and start recording our next one, which I watched. So look for another 5-minute review for Soul Station. That one is the prequel to probably the best zombie movie to come out in the last few years, Train to Busan. Guys, thanks again. Listen, you can follow us on pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts. Wherever you listen to quality podcasts, you'll also find us. I don't know how we snuck in there, but let's run with it. We're also on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We're going to have some more YouTube videos coming up. Don't forget, we have a GoFundMe right now. We're trying to get some new equipment, and times are tough. And times are tough for everybody, so I'm not looking for everybody to donate. But if 100 people could donate $10, or if 50 people can donate $20, we can all get our new equipment and bring much better quality sounding content to you. There is also a benefit. If you donate $20 or more, you get to pick a movie for us to watch. And if 50 people can do that, that'd be fantastic. That gives us our schedule for the rest of the year. So guys, if you can help it, go over to GoFundMe.com, look up Horror Apocalypse Podcast, and donate what you can. If you can't even donate $1 even, just go ahead and share it. Maybe you have some friends or family that can help out, and we greatly appreciate it, any kind of help that you can provide. So thanks again, guys, and look forward to the next episode.